Hi, I'm Vicki Westling here with City Speaks. City Speaks is a show that's brought to you by Mayor Wilfred Rosas. He's here to let you know what's going on in our city and in our community. And because there's so much happening in the way of COVID and with safety and with the new issues and the protocols, we have two people here with us today who are absolutely the best, the most professional, and the ones who are keeping us safe. We have our Fire Chief, Mike Edwards, and our Police Chief, David Ortolano. So guys, welcome. We're so glad to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Well, you know, I've had so many questions. Things have come up about what's happening, what's going on in our area, especially in the way of safety. And you two deal with this all the time with your people. So let's start out. Tomorrow, Friday, is 9/11. Chief Edwards, tell me a little bit, what are we doing, because things have changed. We're not going to do the regular ceremony.
Right. We've decided, because of the COVID pandemic and the recent spikes in the area, to not have the ceremony be public. So the department is going to hold a private ceremony with our members, and we're asking that all city residents observe a moment of silence at 8:26 tomorrow morning along with us to commemorate the 9/11 and to honor all the lives lost.
Now, will your ceremony be, will you have that so that it can be public, that we can upload that onto the Access channel?
Right now, we're just going to actually have it just private, you know, within our own department, and we're hoping that everybody observes the day in their own way and does the moment of silence, so we can keep that tradition of honoring the lives lost, and we certainly hope that next year we will be getting back to our normal ceremony. Right,
you know, and that was truly, any of us who were there or who were around at that time remember exactly where we were when that happened, and truthfully, the world did stand still. I mean, it was really a horrific time. And then, of course, we have Night Out. Chief Ortolano, we've had it canceled a couple of times. Tell me a little bit, what's going on with Night Out?
Before Night Out, I just want to say a few words about 9/11 as well. The best way to honor those lives that were lost is to never forget them. And I know, I look forward to the fire department ceremony every year, and I'm hoping to get back to it again next year. And I applaud the fire department for doing that every year, because as I said, I think the best way to honor those that are lost is to never forget. And the thing you have to remember when you watch the documentaries, which they are all on TV because this is the week commemorating it, when you see tens of thousands of people running away from that scene, and what you see running to that scene are firefighters, emergency service workers, and police officers. So my heart and my thoughts and prayers go out to the families of the lost ones and to those that are still suffering to this day because of it.
Right. You know, and that's just, I'm glad that you brought that up, because our police and firemen and firefighters are really and truly the ones who do run toward the danger. And, and the two of you, I mean, I just absolutely take every opportunity I can to say what a wonderful fire department and police department we have, and it's because of your leadership. So thank you. I thank you both for that as well.
Okay. Now on the Night Out, it's been a challenge this year for National Night Out with the way things are going across our nation and society today. It's something that talking with the Night Out committee, my girls on the committee, our coordinators, and everyone spoke with the mayor several times about it. We are still going to try and do some type of program. We did have it scheduled for the beginning of September, but with the outbreak in the area, we thought it was a good idea not to do it at that time. We're still going to try and do something sometime in October. Hopefully things will settle down. We have a plan in place, so everyone will be safe. It will be required to wear a mask. We're going to have sanitizers. We have sanitizing stations. We're going to double the amount of picnic tables and tents and space so we can keep everybody separate. Being some of the things that have been going on across our country, I really am going to try my best to have the program, because we have a great community that stands behind us every single day, and I don't want to go a year without interacting in some way, shape, or form with them to let them know that we care about them and to listen to what their needs are and to meet and talk about community issues and crime issues. As everyone knows, too, our fire department joins us every year on this program. And it's great to have our firefighters out there interacting, our police officers with people, so they get to meet the people that keep them safe in our communities and do our best every day.
Well, and that's true, and I think that's one of the things that, when I've been to the National Night Out, and the firefighters really do play an integral role in that. So that's great. We have COVID-19, and it is right here with us. Tell me a little bit about what are some of the protocols that you've put in place, not only to keep your area, your work area safe, but your vehicles, the firefighters, the police officers. What are we doing?
As far as the fire department goes, we have strict protocols that we put in place. Most of them come down from the State Department of Health EMS Bureau. We've worked very closely with our local medical directors and the county health department. At the beginning of the pandemic, it was a process that was changing daily. And there was an issue with some shortages of PPE and things like that. So then it was a very hectic time, but luckily we had the PPE in place. We never were short. We have a set guideline for each call, especially our emergency medical calls. Our members wear personal protective equipment on every call, just as a precaution, and we have sanitizing procedures that are daily procedures. We have decontamination procedures after every call. So at this point, I think I have to hand it to our staff, because it has been a little bit stressful with that in mind. They've done everything that they're been asked to do, and we've kept COVID out of our departments, luckily. And to this point, we just it's almost become routine, the procedures that we follow. But we definitely try to limit our contacts, both emergency-wise and non-emergency. And anytime we have any contact with the public, our staff is wearing the masks and trying to socially distance. So.
And what are we doing?
So we run along the same procedures as the fire chief just talked about. When this first started, we got right on top of it, and my hat goes off to our captain, Rich Kaus. He was right on top of this, developing plans and protocols from day one. We actually have three emergency plans in place, depending, and knock on wood, so far we've had no one sick, but he developed and sat down our command staff, myself and the captain, developed 3 emergency plans in case it was something that was minor, right up until half of the department possibly being out sick with this disease. We do daily sanitizing and cleaning of the station. Lou Polchetti, our city custodian, has done a great job with that. Our officers are doing daily sanitizing of the patrol cars. We limit contact with the public. The police station, if they come in, our officers are talking to them outside on the steps and keeping the social distancing. Same on calls, we're wearing masks, we're keeping social distancing. So, as the fire chief said, it was a work in progress from the beginning, because every single day, whatever plan we put in place, the next day it was changed when the protocols came down from the state level. So, right. It was frustrating at times. I myself will tell you, the last 6 months have probably been some of the most stressful times in my entire career, but
I'm sure.
Just making sure that we stay safe so we can keep the community safe. And I'm hoping that somewhere along the line, as this thing ends, maybe somewhere we can get back to normalcy. But for the time being, we are taking all the precautions that we need to keep ourselves safe, as well as those that we serve.
Now, we have our college students are back. And we've had some outbreaks at Fredonia State, and I will be speaking with the president of Fredonia State next week. But we've had some outbreaks there. Now, what happens, how are you handling this with the students who might be coming into our area, or individuals who are not practicing social distancing or wearing the proper mask?
I receive in my office the pause complaints that come from the state to the county level to me. And any complaints we get on parties or businesses or anything of that sort that are not following the protocols, I myself do personally go out and visit with them and talk with them. If I am not there, I'll send one of our command staff people out to talk with them as well, and make sure that we do our best to let everyone know that it's the right thing to do at this time to social distance, wear a mask, try not to have large gatherings. It's difficult. I know people have been locked up for 6 months, and I feel it myself, but we got a little bit farther to go with it.
Right. So now, is there a fine or an incarceration or anything like that involved? I mean, did they?
Unfortunately, executive orders are tough to enforce. They're executive orders. There is no real law against it. We do the best we can to just advise people that it's something they should be doing. The enforcement end of it really comes through the Department of Health. Okay.
Let's talk about some other things going on. We've got certainly in the fire department, we had a new vehicle come in that you've been waiting on for a couple of years. Has that been put into service yet, and how is that working?
It is. It's been put into service. It's working out great for us. It was much anticipated. It's a state-of-the-art piece of apparatus that was replacing a 31-year-old ladder truck. So we've added some features to it. It was a long process. We worked with obviously the mayor and the council to get funding in place, and we're going to be able to make the payments on the truck through ambulance billing revenue, so that's good. And it's been everything that we expected. Our guys have been thoroughly trained on it. We're out there pretty much every day still getting used to the truck, and it's kind of like muscle memory with some of these things, but the truck's in service and hopefully going to serve the community for 30 years like the last one did. So
30 years. Goodness. Now, and police reform, where are we? I know that there's been some things going on. Sheriff Quattrone has been meeting with various police chiefs, and what's happening with that? Are you a part of that process? And what do you think is going on as far as our department is concerned?
I've been a part of the process. We had a meeting last week. We have another meeting tomorrow. I had a meeting with the mayor yesterday about this, and I've kept him in the loop on it. And it's going to be quite a process. I understand that in times there are need to change things, and I'm more than willing to change as the needs of society and the communities around us do change. But unfortunately, sometimes when you want to try and reinvent the whole process of what the majority of it really does work, it's going to be a very difficult process. We're going to try and approach it from a regional level, county-wide, as an umbrella, and then pare down to, because each individual community will have their own individual needs.
Right.
But we're going to try and, we're starting out as a county-wide regional process, and then we'll pare down to some of the things that we do locally. But the manual is that thick.
Now, of course,
we have till April to do it, and I mean, I don't want to be out of line here and say, but that's just, I don't see how that's possible, that we are all going to be able to completely, what they want us to do is reinvent law enforcement, and I don't think all of law enforcement needs to be reinvented. There are some things we need to change, and I think we need to work at just specific areas instead of trying to reform something. And I understand when things happen, but when you paint with the very wide paintbrush, sometimes it's difficult. We have a lot of the things that they want us to reform we're already doing. The majority of it we're already doing, but now we have to go back over all of those processes and find a way to reinvent what we're already doing in many cases. So it's going to be quite an effort.
Well, and we're fortunate in our area because we have not had any problems, and and that, I think that comes back to your National Night Out, the way that you and your officers work with the community, the way people are involved. And we are a smaller community, but the fact that we have not had those problems that some of the other communities are having, it really speaks well to where we are. So when you deal with police reform, what is the main component that they're looking for? Can you share that?
And to be honest with you, after reading the 130-something pages, I really don't know. I mean, we're just getting into it, and you read one page and it says one thing, and 10 pages later, some of it kind of changes what you read 10 pages before. But to speak to your point, Vicki, we have a great community. This community that we have here in the city of Dunkirk, the people, the residents, the relationship that our department has with the community is amazing, and we have a very, very wonderful community that stands behind us in law enforcement. And that comes from both ends. That comes from our department being out there. You know, we're in the schools, we're out in the community, we're doing a lot of community effort. That comes from our guys stopping and playing basketball with the kids on the street, or just stopping and talking with people. It's just the way we run our day-to-day operations and the community, and we respect the community we serve, and in turn, I got to tell you something, they sure as heck respect us, because whenever we need anything, this community has always been there for us and standing beside us, not even behind us. They stand beside us on everything that we need, and I think that's the reason why you see, we don't have a lot of the issues that are going on in other cities across our state or across the country, because we have a very good dialogue and very good open communication with those that we serve.
Yeah. And I can certainly attest to that. Now, you spoke about talking to the schools and the school children, and I know that every year you all go out and we have the fire trucks there, and you go in and you read to the students. How has that impacted this COVID now? Do you still plan to be able to do those sorts of things?
Yes, we have a pretty extensive fire safety and prevention program that we work with the school with every year. We're very proud of that, and I think it's very effective to the children, and it even translates to the parents, because they bring the stuff home. So that has been a big concern of ours. Of course, things are going to change a little bit this year. So we're going to work with the school. We've already talked about several topics, and perhaps trying to do something virtually, maybe putting together some YouTube videos, things like that. Plus, with this day and age, they're doing distance learning, so we can do that with fire safety too. So we're definitely going to do programs. They just may not be in person.
Okay.
It's the same as us. We do our School Reader Day program. We do it in the fall, and we do it again in the spring. We go through all of the schools more than once. One of the great programs that we've had that Officer Tom Razumowski came up with a couple years ago was the Student of the Month Breakfast with a Police Officer. We call it Timbits with Tommy, but we want to do these things, but it's going to be difficult until some of the protocols change and the numbers get to the point where we're not afraid to go into the schools and do some of the programs that we want to do. So as the fire chief said, we're kind of in a holding pattern right now. But we're going to do something. It's just going to depend on when school gets back and what their procedures and protocols are going to be as to when we can institute these programs safely.
Right. Sure. Safety is the big thing. Morale. Tell me about the morale of your departments. How has it been with all of this? Because they've really been, your guys have been on the front lines. So how has this affected the morale of your employees, your firefighters, your police officers?
Well, I'll start. I'd have to say that honestly, our staff has stepped up to the challenge like they normally do. In our profession, we're faced with challenges all the time. Like I said, it was a little more stress and some confusion at times, but there's a little bit more of a fear amongst responders of. There is this other threat of a disease out there that we might be faced with. But I think our morale's been great, to be honest with you.
Yeah, same with me. My hat's off to my men and women, my boys and girls. They do one hell of a job every single day out there under some very stressful conditions. And we wouldn't have the success we have today in this community with the public safety if not for the boots on the ground, our firefighters, our police officers. Every success that I have is because of them in my department, and my hat's off to them because they've got one heck of a job to do, and I'll tell you what, I'll stand behind them any day of the week. They go out and do a great job every single day.
Well, and I stand behind the two of you because I think the two of you go out and do a great job every day. I mean, I think there are very few people that I have a higher regard for than Chief Edwards and Chief Ortolano. So you guys are great. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the information to our residents, to our citizens. If there's a problem, if they were to need to call somebody, if they were to go into a restaurant or somewhere and they thought that the people were not properly distancing or not wearing masks, do they call? What do they do?
There is, I don't have it with me, but there is a pause hotline in New York State that you can call and then wherever the place is, then they will go and be referred to the individual municipalities. If they're in the city, they would come to me.
Okay, and then you would go out and you
Right.
would deal with that. So, COVID is here. We all just need to practice social distancing. We need to wear a mask. If we can't practice social distancing, we need to wash our hands, do all the things that we normally do. And more than that, we have everything going on. And then in today's paper, there was Back the Police initiative that's happening. And I think that's great. I think we really should support our police and our firefighters. And I really do appreciate that. I mean, my husband was a police officer. He was a volunteer firefighter. And you guys are there. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I know the people appreciate it.
Thank you.
So thank you. Thank you for watching City Speaks. City Speaks is here for you, the residents of this community, of the city of Dunkirk. You can watch City Speaks daily on Spectrum 1301 at 3 and 10. Watch it at your leisure by going to DunkirkAccess.com and watching it on YouTube. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like. If there's somebody you want to see, let me know that as well. Send an email to cityspeaks@cityofdunkirk.com. Snail mail, City Speaks, 342 Central Avenue, Dunkirk 14048. Thank you for watching and have a great day.